welcome to the MeshForge tutorial series. To get started, we're going to click on Tools, MeshForge, and Rebaker. Once the window is open, you can go ahead and dock it wherever you'd like. The purpose of the Rebaker tool, as it says in the name, is to rebake a mesh into Unity's coordinate system. Now, the reason we have to do that is so that we can then use that asset in MeshForge's other tools. Let's go ahead and get started by looking at the fields that are available. So you'll see here at the top, the Save Folder field. Now what this field is for you to assign a root folder name for all of your assets to be saved into when using MeshForge. You can name it whatever you like. By default, it sets itself to modular character parts. The second field is the source prefab field. And this will be the field that we drop our prefab into, the one that we want to rebake into Unity's coordinate system. So finally, we have an optional offsets field. This field isn't really necessary to mess around with unless the standard default way that this system works does not work for your asset. If that is the case, you can add additional rotation offsets, additional positional offsets, and even scale offsets to make sure that your mesh is in Unity's coordinate system. Before we actually go ahead and rebake anything, I just want to do a quick inspection of the prefab we're going to be working with. When I begin dropping down the hierarchy here, you can see that there is a transform that is a parent of the root bone hierarchy, as well as the skin mesh renderer. And when you click on that parent, you can see that the rotation is at a -90 on the X. So that means whoever created this asset used this parent transform to rotate the skin mesh renderer and the root bone hierarchy. You can see here, when I move this to 0, it actually puts the mesh back into its natural state. To further confirm this, we'll go ahead and look at the mesh itself in the asset folder. This is another way to inspect the mesh to see if it does need to be rebaked. I'm going to go ahead and set this back to -90 on the X. And then what we're going to do is just drag and drop that prefab into the source prefab field. Once we click on rebake, we're going to get a confirmation at the bottom that says that it was exported successfully. So other than the notification at the bottom of the MeshRebaker window, you can actually also just go open up this FBX folder and click on the newly rebaked FBX. You want to go straight to rig, change it to humanoid, create from this model, and click apply. Now, to further verify this, we'll go ahead and go into the rebaked prefabs folder, and we're going to drag and drop that prefab into the scene. Now you can see in here that it does differ from the original in the sense that it no longer has that parent transform that's causing a rotation offset. So that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.